Anyone that hasn't been here for a little bit, which could include me, might wonder, what's going on here today? Right? Balloons and decorations. Like, what's happening? What's happening? Yeah? Who wants to? A party! All right. That's always a good thing. What are we celebrating?
Volunteers.
Oh, we're celebrating our volunteers. And we're celebrating not only our volunteers as individuals, but also the ministry teams. Thank you. The groups. Why is that so important? We are grateful today, in fact, for the accomplishments of 8 dynamic ministry teams over, my paper just keeps falling right off. Thank you. So I can leave it. Okay, 8 dynamic ministry teams that have totally changed UCP in the last year and a half. It may seem like we've always had the ministry teams, but they started, in fact, in January of 2016. And they've revolutionized who we are, what we're capable of, what we're generating in terms of energy. I'm just going to mention them quickly. Just a brief summary of how each ministry team has become a transformational force for our spiritual community. Communications has facilitated connectedness by developing databases and helping people stay in the loop. Community care has really heightened our ability to support each other in times of crisis. And it's also provided prayer for all of us when we request it. Ask and you shall receive. You know, ask is an important piece of this. And has generated a new wellness team, providing free education on creating and maintaining wholeness by using the accumulated wisdom of the ages. Hospitality, if you remember, has really revolutionized our awareness of what it means to be welcoming, our definition of welcome. Music and special events. And if I leave something out, that's because I can't, in the space of this talk, mention everything. So I hope you'll forgive me for choosing 1 or 2 ways in which I've seen the teams make a big difference in Unity Center of Peace. And you'll all have a chance to learn more later, after the service. Music and special events has heightened the energy of special music on Sundays, attracted an increasing number of talented musicians, services and special concerts, conceived and hosted beautiful spiritual experiences in our Wednesday Night Alive program, and supported UCP's active arts program, the beautiful art on the walls. Outreach has created for UCP a robust and satisfying program of being present and helping others in our local community. Spiritual education is in the process of totally revamping our spiritual education program for adults, youth, new members, giving all of us enhanced opportunities to deepen our spiritual practice and awareness. Stewardship has beautified and maintained our spiritual home the garden, the grounds, our beloved sanctuary and building, and the very special sacred outdoor spaces that we offer freely to anyone who wishes to come and pray and meditate outdoors. And Sunday and other services, aka SOS, which has dramatically reconfigured the energy and flow of our Sunday services, while also creating for us special seasonal and celebratory experiences indoors and out. Think about that list. Not just the team names, but the difference that these teams have made in our community life. Can you imagine what there was here before we had teams? Well, there was a struggle before we had the teams. We had a spiritual community that wanted to grow. And there was 7 people trying to do everything. And we had no structure to welcome in anybody else to help. And we felt overwhelmed, and people came and went. And our bottom line, we kept bringing in people. We weren't adding people. We had a big problem. And the outcome of our search for a solution, the teams, is really important because of what it illustrates about problem solving. And that's what I want to talk about today. Life, pretty much, is a series of situations, right? Is one thing after another. If it's not one thing, it's another. We've got all kinds of ways of saying this. And that's pretty much what our life consists of. How many decisions you make in a day? Boom, 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 boom. You go out, you got a flat tire. Oh dear, what do I do now? Suddenly it starts to rain, and it's pouring, and you're indoors, and you didn't bring any rain protection. Ooh, I don't want to get wet. What do I do? What do I do? It's pretty much what we do all day. Anybody not in that situation? If not, I would suggest maybe you're not alive. So, here we are, enjoying the miracle of life. I mean, the more I go along, the more I realize what a miracle it is to be alive right here in this minute. We have this present moment. And the miracle of being alive. Where does this miracle of life, how do we get this? Where did it come from? It is. We have it or we don't. That's about all we know. And there's, from all evidence, from science now, from psychology, from experience, from culture, from human knowledge and lore back for however long we know about human cultures, we've shared an awareness that, okay, what we are doing every day and what's going on every day, that's not all there is. There's something else. There's some kind of principle. And of course, we know at least a dozen names for this principle. Some we may choose to use, some we may choose never to use. But there's something. There's no way that, we could just be here on this level and experience all the miracles that we experience if there was not some power bigger than us. That's what we know. from our experience. There's a power bigger than us. So, we're here, we call ourselves unity. And the reason that the unity name has survived for 150 years, the reason that there are unity centers all over the place, is that unity and the other New Thought practitioners of the early 19th century and mid-19th century, 150 years ago, they were part of the evolving consciousness of that age. And in meditation, in the silence, they became aware of some aspects of this power. And they taught it to others. And unity is still teaching those things. Although it's kind of been like a game of telephone over 150 years. You know, you tell somebody and they tell somebody and they tell somebody and yada, 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 and it's not quite what it was when it started. What's happening now in unity is that with digitalization, they're able to go back and look at everything that the Fillmores and their students said and wrote and put it all together. So you can do research on prayer and come up with lists of what they said about prayer and compare and see, okay, where did they agree? Where did they not agree? What were they actually saying? Have you read Charles Fillmore in particular? It's an experience. I mean, you know, he grew up, he was born in 1850-something, and his language wasn't exactly, or his style, exactly what we are used to today. And so there's some translation that's needed. And there are many places where you ask, well, what did he mean? What was he really saying? So that process is going on now, and it's really quite powerful, what's coming out of it. And one of the big things is kind of a shift in definition of what we are and what this power is. So in this concept, there are two realms of power. One is the absolute realm. That's where the power, whatever you want to call it, spirit, universe, dwells. Okay? And then there's the relative realm, which is embodied life. And one of the basic ideas is that everything that really happens in the absolute realm. And what we see here is a reflection. So it's kind of like a projected image that you might see on the wall. Where the action is happening was with the people actually making the film, right? That's the absolute realm. You want to change the story? Where do you go? You go and do something on the wall? Does that change the story? Think about it. Can you change the movie by doing something on the wall? No. We do not have a magic wand that would allow us to change the story on the wall. We're living on the wall. Yeah, I mean, this is mind-blowing. What?
I said it's like you took it, it sounds like Plato's.
Plato's cave Plato's Shadows, if you're aware of that, was a good description of the same phenomenon. Yes. Which, as I say, this is not new. People have known this stuff for eons. But we keep forgetting it. It's too complicated. I can't go there. That's too much. I'd rather just live in the image on the wall. We say that to ourselves. But we can't change the story that's being projected on the wall. And we keep trying. We keep knowing about things we don't like. Think about something now. There's all kinds of possibilities, right? The list could go on and on and on and on and on. It could be something simple or something complex. There's a lot of things we don't like. We can't change them by squashing them on the wall. It's not going to work. Nothing's going to really happen. We can punish, we can deny, we can fight, we can bomb them out of existence, we can, what else? What else do we do when we have a problem? Yeah, we can manipulate. We can pretend it doesn't exist. Yep. We can blame somebody else. We can talk to, okay, we can talk about it to somebody we think might be able to do something about it. And what are they going to do about it? Most likely. That's another strategy. You can pray about it. What does it mean to pray? What is prayer? Okay. Go to the source. That is a really good way of putting it. What's the source? What's the source of power? What? It's inside us. We just did a meditation. That's where you went, whether you were thinking that or not. You were connecting. When we go in and we actually think about what we're doing and get rid of all the things that are running around in our minds before we went in, that's why you breathe. When you take a deep breath, it helps you to clear out all that stuff and helps you to center in and just be in your inner awareness. That is our doorway to entering the absolute realm, where we also live. Charles Fillmore said, human consciousness can pivot, can turn one of two ways. We can either turn and look at the feelings and the experiences on the earthly level, and, just experience them and be there. And we can choose to turn within, where he says where all life, all power, and all intelligence is. Within. All life, all power, all intelligence, and the movie maker. That's the movie maker. All life, all power, all intelligence. It's within. Einstein famously said, when you got a problem, he didn't say it in these words, but basically what he said, when you got a problem, you can't solve it on the same level that it's a problem. So when you ground your kids for doing something, you're squashing. You're trying to solve it, but all you're doing is you're pushing it away. And it'll come back. Some other way, perhaps, or the same way. But it will always come back. Whenever we squash in the relative realm, in the experiential realm, whenever we act to solve a problem, all we're doing is squashing it temporarily. We're just painting over the image on the wall. I mean, you all and I are still dealing with problems that come from our family's actions to try to squash us in one way or another. Right? You got a problem, you squash it. You think it went away. It just comes back some other way, some other time. It still exists. The only way is to find another level, another energy. And that comes from turning within to the absolute realm. So in this unity concept, God is three. Does that sound familiar? Two dudes and a bird, right? I'll talk about this another time. I don't have time today, but everything in the universe works by threes.
Not necessarily foods.
Huh?
More androgynous.
Well,
Well, it's not the old belief.
yeah, well, yeah. On the earthly level, we think everything is a problem and a solution, basically. Duking it out with each other. Right? What really happens is you need a third energy to align the energy of the two opposing earthly forces and bring them into a higher solution that works, that really changes, that solves, that heals. That's the basic working of the universe. And it's our job to remember when we need to solve a problem, we need to turn within and go to the source. And the source consists of all that is, and every idea that could ever possibly be thought by anything or anybody. It's all there, already there. And there's no plan for which idea happens when. It's just all there. And the third force within, in the absolute, is human beings picking thoughts. And when we pick a thought, and the thoughts aren't, okay, the pain in my toe is going to go away by 2 p.m. You know, that's not the thought. The thought is healing. Or the thought is peace. Or the thought is abundance. Basic positive principles. The thought is kindness. The thought is love. When we choose a divine idea and think it, and feel it, and adopt it, and say, yeah, I want this one. And then express our gratitude for it, it's happening right then, in the absolute realm. That is all we need to do. So how does it get down here? Down here is what? The wall. Right. So whatever happens inside, up there, out there, I don't know, there's no real place for it. whatever happens in the absolute realm, which has neither time nor place, projects into our earthly experience. We don't have to worry about how it's going to project or when it's going to project. It projects. Just like, as long as you've got a working projector, the movie projects on the wall when you aim it toward the wall. It's that cut and dried. And we're the ones choosing the idea and pinning it to our awareness and saying, yes, that one. Thank you. I'm complete. And then we get to watch and see how it happens. And the way these things happen, the way divine ideas happen, is so amazing. You know, we've all experienced them. It's like the great synchronicities. Somebody's there right at the right time, and they hand you $1 million. But you get what you need in this level as a result of the idea that you have thought. I know. This is still taking me. You know, this goes against everything I thought I knew. Don't think you know things. So, what on earth does this have to do with ministry teams, you ask? UCP had the inspiration back in 2014. Okay, we got a big problem here, and we need a real solution. And we spent a year, every month, meeting together, going within, sharing the divine realm, the absolute realm, and choosing the ideas that we wanted, and letting them go, releasing our idea of how it should happen. And the idea that came to us as a result of that was ministry teams, which seemed kind of overwhelming at first, as I remember, like, you've got to be kidding me. We can't do that. Well, yeah, we could. And we set our mind to it, and we did. And the ministry teams are acting the way divine solutions act. They have their own energy. They generate more energy. They are attractive. They really work. So as we together celebrate the ministry teams and think about gardening and electricity and crop walk and music and all the things that the ministry teams concern themselves with, think about how these ideas express ideas that we went inside to find and to express. These teams manifest a divine solution because we asked for a divine solution within. And I feel very grateful about that. And I think anybody who's been around here for a while and remembers before will also find a response of gratitude. I'm going to talk about this some more. But begin to think about problem, desire. What's the third piece that you need? What? Help. Good. Okay. Describe the help. Go to spirit. Go within. Let it all go. Choose the general idea that you want to see happening. Be grateful for it and release. Release your feeling that, okay, it's up to me, I got to do it all, what am I going to do next? That's irrelevant. that just distracts you from the absolute realm. So that's the idea that I want to plant, like a little seed, today, as we celebrate the ministry teams. To remember divine solution. And pick a problem. I invite you to pick a problem today, after the service, when you go home, and go within. And start that process of seeking the divine idea that is the right one for you in that problem. And start working with that process. And slapping yourself if you're working from down here from anxiety as opposed to letting happen. So let's celebrate and have a great time and remember divine idea. And so it is.